Welcome students, welcome to my next video. SYGC History. Topic number 2, European Colonialism. Now my dear students, we will see what is being said in this lesson. We are going to see why colonialism have taken deep root, especially in Asia and African countries. Now, what were the factors? If you all know, and we all are very familiar, that colonialism is a part of imperialism. Now, before we go to imperialism, we need to know what is imperialism. Very simple. Imperialism is nothing but a strong nation rules over the weaker nation. In Hindi, there is a muhavre or a proverb which says, पानी में रह के मगर मत से बैर ना रखिए. Always strong nations rule over the weak nation. And that is how the colonies are established. Well, what is given in the book, I am not telling you. The best example is Britishers ruled over India. When they saw India was not united, they were fighting in the name of religion, they were fighting in the name of community, caste system. So they felt they came as a trader, but they established their political influence. The same way, countries like France, Portugal, Spain, gradually, slowly, they started occupying Asia and African colonies. One of the main characteristics of the colonialism is the transport of raw materials from the colonies to their mother country. Simple. That is what even the Britishers were doing here in India. They were taking commercial crops, cotton, wheat, indigo. Our farmers were not interested, but yet they were forced. And then, if we don't adhere to their norms, if we don't listen to them, if we are not obeying them, my dear students, they force us. And that is how this colonialism came in. Now, there are various factors, but before going to the factors, let us see. When colonialism begins, what happens to the local people? They are insulted. They are forced to follow others' culture. The native people, they have inferiority complex in their minds. They are apologetic towards their own culture and history. And it is said, the sun never sets on the British Empire. It is a way that indicates worldwide the spread of British colonies. The British Empire encompassed the continent of Asia, Africa, America, and Australia. Now, there are commercial revolutions in 15th century. Now, this seafarers, they went to various places, they found new lands, and they named it, and they started establishing themselves firmly in those new lands in Asia and Africa. Now I would like to say what is the literal meaning and the nature. When I say meaning and the nature, it says that Europeans, they reached the world with various intentions. The first intention was to trade, to earn more and more profit from the unknown land, to search minerals like gold mines. They could purchase it with few amount and they may earn profit. And the Europeans used to compete with each other. Example is Britishers and French. However, we find one good thing in the colonies. That is, when these Europeans started ruling over them, people had the feeling of nationalism. The best example is, let us take over from on Indian history. When Britishers were ruling over us, what did they do? The local people were insulted. They were forced to convert themselves into Christianity. And if they did not follow what the Britishers said, they were punished. So that was one example. The other example is in America. Britishers went over there. They ruled on 13 colonies. They forced the people. They drew boundaries for the Red Indians. So you can see the local people, they were insulted and they were not ready to accept the foreigners. Simple. Now, my dear students, Europeans needed to capture newer marketplace because of Industrial Revolution. What has happened? They wanted markets to sell their surplus goods, and they found best was the colonies. And they wanted raw materials for the industrial production. Again, the colonies were taxed with that. To get the raw materials and to sell off the finished goods, both they adopted or the policy of taxing on colonies. And that is how they earned surplus profit. And they established political supremacy over Asian and African countries. Now, my dear students, further we will see what are the causes of colonialism. What are the main factors? The first factor is colonialism is a result of industrial revolution. They wanted raw materials. So in order to get the raw materials, they established colonies. They wanted market to sell off their goods, finished goods, and to attain profit. So again, they depended on the colonies. So, because of Industrial Revolution, we find that was one of the factors that led to the causes of colonialism. Second one, requirement of raw materials, as I told you in the previous point. Because of Industrial Revolution, they wanted raw materials at a very low cost so that they may earn more and more profit. They wanted the monopoly in the market. And so what happened? They went and they established colonies. The best example is Britishers establishing colonies in India and Africa, and especially in India, they were selling their foreign clothes. The next factor is investing the surplus capital. Since these imperialist country, they were businessmen, they were capitalists, and as we all know, capitalists or businessmen, their main motive is to earn profit, and whatever the surplus fund they have got, they invested on these developed countries and they earned profit. They also formed these colonies as a source of minerals. As we all know, Asia and Africa, they are rich with minerals like gold, diamond, silver, and coal. And these Europeans were very much attracted towards these minerals. So they established their colonies. Geographic importance, that's one more thing, you know, because these colonies like Malta, Aden, Singapore, Andaman, Nicobar were some of the regions where the British established their hold. It was of geographic importance. Availability of labor, you know, they wanted, the merchants wanted large number of laborers, cheap laborers, and they got it from the colonies. That contributed to the boom of slave trade. And last but not the least, feeling of racial superiority. The best example we have seen in India. They have marked us as uncivilized people because we were having old traditionals and customs. We were rigid with the caste system. And they believed that, because we were rigid, we were following certain traditions, we were uncivilized. And they assumed that, they are the people who are supposed to make others civilized by spreading Christianity. And they said, this helped them in the growth of colonialism. Now, my dear students, we will see what is the consequence. What was the result of this colonialism? The result was very simple. There are 2-3 points which I would like to elaborate on. One, the people in Asia and Africa was economically exploited by the Europeans. That was the first thing. Economic exploitation. Second thing, they lost their freedom. People lost their freedom. Third, they were pushed to poverty. At the same time, something constructive happened during the colonial period. A new awareness emerged in the political, social, economic, and educational field. The values like liberty, equality, fraternity, and the principles like administration based on fundamental legal system, judicial system, availability of education to all. People became aware to need the shoulder the responsibility of solving their problems. They knew the problem is there. The foreigners are there. They are going to rule over us. And how can we solve this problem? We ourselves have to solve the problem. After getting education, they came to know the value of liberty, equality, and fraternity. And thus, they were able to solve their problems, which eventually led to the independence movement in many colonies. So, my dear students, I end this video. If you like the video, please do like it. If you have not subscribed it, please subscribe it. And also share it with others who are not aware of this video. And I wish you all the best, my dear students, for your board exam. May God bless you. And you may come out with flying colors. If you have any doubts, if you have to have any clarification, you can comment it in the chat box. Thank you.